Hey guys, George Mesa here, Third Eye Edify podcast, here to bring you a short video this week. Every so often I'll do a short one. It's going to be the first of many, I'm sure. Kind of just getting some ideas out, almost recording my own thoughts at the same time, and every single thing that will be discussed in this short video will probably turn into either its own video or one much longer video eventually. And, with your feedback, I can actually come up with some ideas too. So don't hesitate to leave a comment, and here we go. What is this here? It's shown up in one of my videos before, but very clearly it's a pyramid with the capstone removed. There's the all-seeing eye. Maybe it's Siri, maybe it's Iris, Siri backwards, who knows? But what I'm really here to talk about is not the dollar bill, but what is the form, what is the shape, what is the geometry left over after we remove the capstone? After we remove the triangle on top of what already was a triangle, we get a trapezoid. Why is the trapezoid important? The trapezoid has been used for many, many, many things, and honestly worshipped by many cultures for many reasons. What is the word pyramid? Pyra, mid, the middle fire. The middle fire could be your heart, and it certainly has been called that in many cultures throughout history. So the pyramid, the nature of what pyramid means, is something that is always going to be worshipped. And on top of that, it's a shape that actually defines something very important, and it is a piece of and can be actually worked out into triangles, squares, rectangles. The triangle itself is the most important, or possibly one of the most important geometric shapes. Without the third point that creates the triangle, the trinity, we really only have a line. We don't get geometry till there's a third point. Think about that. The number 3 is very important for many, many reasons. So what happens when we have a trapezoid? And what happens, more importantly, when we have a trapezoid that is measured with very specific numbers, meant for very specific things? Let's see. Here's a trapezoid. We're looking at 10. We're looking at 5. We're looking at 6. And we're looking at 5 again. Now, I did not measure this one on graph paper. I have done some on graph paper. Looks exactly like a trapezoid. And I will show you one graph paper image at the very end here to show you another little discovery that I came up with that I'm not even sure if it's typically discussed. And I'm kind of curious where that goes. So we have 10, 5, 6, 5. Now, what does 10, 5, 6, 5 do for us? As you may remember, I have shown us in the past that, and many others as well have shown, that we use gematria when we look at language to figure out certain things that are hidden in plain sight, occulted by whatever you want to call it, Freemasons, Illuminati, Kabbalah, cabals, anything you want to name them, the powers that should not be. When we look at Hebrew, when we look at Jewish gematria, 10, 5, 6, 5 ends up very specifically being Yod, He, Vav, He. And I have mentioned this in previous episodes. So here's what those symbols look like, what those characters look like, with their names right next to them. Now, inside of the trapezoid here, we have the first letter of each, YHVH, Yod, He, Vav, He. It's written backwards inside of the trapezoid because it's read backwards in Hebrew. I wrote everything else to be read in, our standard left to right English, which I believe is a very interesting idea overall, because if most people are right-handed, and if you are to write with your right hand, you actually, and you write from left to right, from west to east, you're not only going against the natural path of the sun, but you're writing away from your heart. When you write from east to west, from right to left, you're actually writing towards your heart, and you follow the path of the sun, Westinghouse. So that's something very interesting to think about. And the other reason I have these these first letter of each, essentially highlighted, bold, is because there's lots of languages that don't actually use their vowels. If you grab a Torah or an original Bible, you're not getting vowels. You're supposed to read it as is. Each syllable actually gets sung, and you don't get to use vowels. I think it's a completely fascinating topic, and that's definitely something to think about. So here's one more thing now. What is Yod He Vav He? How do we usually see it? It's referenced as the tetragrammaton, or tetragram, because it's the 4 letters that make up this name, often referenced as Yahweh, or the unspeakable name of God. Christianity, Hebrew, Jewish. These are all very important concepts. Now, what else does a trapezoid represent? What else can be inferred from this, and what else can be worshipped from this? We started off with a deconstructed pyramid. And here is one of many images you can find of the main pyramids in Giza. There's a grand gallery. There's chambers going in different directions. Very often we see chambers, sound waves, aquifers underneath. This is I use the word very, very lightly, but this is a theory, or what could potentially be very well proven. I don't think that the research I've done so far will let me tell you that this is fact. But there are layers. There's limestone. There's crystal. There's solid gold in these things. It's much like an electrical cable. There's different layers in it. Different layers to protect you so you can grab it without getting electrocuted, for example, and many other reasons. The pyramids are made the same way. It's not just a layer of stone or a bunch of blocks and then some antechamber, chamber, whatever's in there. A lot of these were actually being proven to be frequency generators. Did you know that volcanoes also have chambers? Volcanoes are also pretty much pyramids. Sometimes they may resemble more of a trapezoid, especially if the top is really flat and wide. And things come right out the top. Almost like every so often the volcano achieves the ultimate goal of running through all of your chakras right up to the top. Something to think about. And last but not least here, and don't mind the crude nature of this, I didn't use any straight edges. I should have, but I didn't. Here is on graph paper, 10565, worked out perfectly. It certainly looks like a trapezoid. It's a little wonky, I know. But if you continue the path up to the top point, we get another 2 6s on each side. 6, 6, 6. And as we saw earlier, the number 6 for the gematria is Vav. Take a good look at that symbol. I'm not here to tell you that that's what it is, but if you look at, and I'm sure some of you have heard of this already, there's that, in quotes, conspiracy theory that the Monster energy drink symbol is 3 of these Vavs, and it really does look like it, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not denying that it could be. But that would imply that 666 is right on that canister. And there's a whole can of worms to open up with the way we use barcodes, UPCs, and how there's a 666 in each one of them. And I may go into detail on that another day. But that's pretty much it. I wanted to get out there a lot of information that I've kind of been mulling about in my mind. And I'll leave you with this. It's claimed that volcanoes are spewing out the molten core of the earth. But there is no proof of this molten core or molten solid, whatever material they're saying it is. We can't dig far enough. We don't have any tools to prove it. They're basing their theories of the molten core of the center of the Earth, or whatever the new theory is. They're basing it all on gravity and seismic activity and how it may react in a gravitational system. So like I've said a lot on this show, you have to believe that in order for you to believe the other thing. It could be lies on top of lies. Or maybe not. I'm not here to tell you yes or no there, but I am here to tell you that there's plenty more where that came from. I hope you enjoyed this short video, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much.